Hi! So you're interested in helping out your local union? That's awesome! Did you know that on average, workers with a union got paid an extra $200 per month? Well, there's evidence that a tenant union will on average decrease rent escalation and improve living conditions for the tenants. But how do we make this happen? The answer to this question will change depending on who is asking. That is because unions organize around the issues of the local folks, and so they must be organized differently depending on the circumstances of the local folks. You need to be observant of the problems you and other union members are facing and adapt accordingly. Finding common ground with other tenants over an infestation of cockroaches is one example of recruiting based on your circumstances. But there are 5 things that a union must accomplish in order to endure, and we are going to discuss these 5 things today. Not everyone may be able to do all 5 of these things, and that's alright. Thanks to our organizing, we can enable the charismatic to expand, the intelligent to organize, the perceptive to research, the able to participate, and the honest to regulate. You will likely be called to do a combination of these tasks at different times, but only on time that you volunteer to the union. 1. Expand. A union finds strength in numbers. A group with 2 million organized individuals can move mountains, and we aim to build a world where unions operate democratically in more aspects of our life. This means the union's power correlates directly to how efficiently it can expand. But recruiting people is often much harder and slower than you might at first imagine. A union member who aims to recruit people to their side must build relationships on common ground with potential union members. Usually, the method that activists have found to be the most effective is simply to talk one-on-one to folks who would benefit from being in a union, but not talk to them about the union directly. Being direct about your political agenda might seem like a good idea when engaging with another tenant, but it often backfires. People do not like to start conversations about politics or economics, but they will open up about their problems, especially if you share the problem. Talented activists will strike a genuine bond or friendship with their fellow tenants first. You should start by asking if they have had similar problems as yourself and other tenants and engage with potential solutions. Many of the ideas that people think of work better if they are done by a lot of people, so the idea of organizing will eventually come up, but it should not come from you. Indeed, people prefer the ideas that they came up with themselves. After this step, you would invite the trusted person to join the existing union. Many people don't fully understand the concept of unions, so you could recommend resources like this video or that video to help them visualize what they stand to gain and what they can do to help. It is important to map who knows who in an apartment complex when you do this type of work. Often, an apartment complex will have some figures that everyone knows, like the grandmother who cooks everyone a cake when they move in, or the local drug dealer. These people can contact other members of the community and introduce you and your ideas. Mapping the relationships of the people where you live will help you and your team understand the best ways to recruit others. The effort to recruit is essential, but also difficult as it requires an emotional investment by the one who befriends their neighbor. This relationship building is at the core of activism and organizing. It comes from a genuine place of wanting to understand and help your neighbor. But it is also slow because you must move at the speed of trust. This role you take on will often have the following goal: turn private pain into public power. Everyone has problems, but being open and vulnerable about them is difficult. Your own private pain can be shared with others so they feel the permission to open up about their own difficulties as tenants. If enough people are concerned about the same problem and organizing, you will have turned their private pain into outrage and public power. Do not expect that you will recruit everyone in the building, and be ready to accept some failures. Your best tool with reluctant tenants is to connect them with the disenfranchised in the building whose story might move them to solidarity. 2. Organize. Large groups of people can move mountains, but they must coordinate in order to do so. There are lots of ways for you to organize, and once again, you must adapt to the circumstances in which you live. You might schedule meetings for union members by using a scheduling app. Maybe organizing means that you know who in the building has the solution to a tenant's problem. Maybe organizing means that you're keeping notes of what is said in meetings for those who cannot attend. You could inform union members of another tenant's ideas, problems, or suggestions. Everyone has different strengths and weaknesses, so it is your job to find out what the other union members want to do, what they can do, and what they're willing to do. As an organizer, you will have to take notes of your work so that another organizer might learn from them how to do this task when they get started. An organizer might be tasked to find an adequate tenants lawyer for the union or start a system of dues to hire said lawyer. An organizer could plan and prepare a protest or a rent strike. It is important to understand the following as an organizer. Acting as an organizer, no matter how officially you do it, shouldn't give you power over others, but empower those that you help. Good organizers also need to create safe spaces for minorities in the union. This means researching how to make safe spaces in meetings and other events and applying that research. When you have organized an aspect of the union, it becomes a tool that all members can use to their advantage. Part of organizing is to make sure everyone who could benefit from your efforts knows about the existence and use of the union's new tool. 3. Research. The union needs to be informed in order to make good decisions. You will likely have to research how to do a rent strike, how to organize, or who to contact. Here's a short list of things that the union might benefit from researching. Who owns the apartment complex? What type of legal entity are the owners? A landlord, a management company? Do they own other buildings who would benefit from forming a union? Have they committed criminal acts against their tenants in the past? Are they failing to maintain adequate living conditions for any of the tenants in your building? Where do they live, work, or make it possible to contact them? What are the laws and protections concerning renting, unionizing, rent striking, and evictions in your state and in your city? Are there local organizations dedicated to helping unions? Are there local lawyers who help unions? Are there local programs to publicly finance the union? How do you set up a fair system of dues to finance the union's projects? What sort of actions can unions take, and which ones are the most efficient to pressure a landlord? What sorts of tricks do landlords use to bust unions? How to defend against these tricks? How pro-eviction is the judge in charge of your area? How do you set up an efficient and fair democratic system to make decisions in the union? And many more questions that you may already be asking right now. Learning and sharing these facts will empower the tenants and your union comrades to make educated decisions. Be wary of false information and double-check your sources before you share important facts. 4. Participate. Take part in the regular meetings of the union. Volunteer for union projects. Vote on the issues that your union takes up. Organizing members of the union will have many ideas and plans accumulated from the tenants' suggestions, but they cannot tackle everything by themselves. Participants in unions are the backbones of our operations. If we show up as a large group to protest a rent increase, we are more likely to succeed in stopping it. This type of activity can be extremely varied and allow participation from everyone based on their skills and availability. 5. Regulate. When your union is formed, members will create rules on how they want to organize. It is the responsibility of a regulator to know about these rules and to remind them should anyone else forget. This position isn't one of authority, but of helpful counsel. Such a position is necessary in order to ensure the good working of the union. We cannot operate properly if we fail to democratically reach decisions, or if some members gain authority over the others from prolonged stay at an official role in the union. If you wish to regulate within your union, you must observe that the money and power of the union is used for the things members agreed to. For that reason, the union members should work to keep the inner workings of the union as transparent as possible. If we cease to represent the people like other institutions have, we lose our legitimacy. Ideally, members of a union would reach agreements through the use of contracts as detailed in this video by non-compete. There it is, the list of essential activities that you can contribute in a union and that need to be done for us to succeed. This isn't a full list, nor is it a complete guide to this type of work, but hopefully what answers I haven't provided can be found by the researchers of your union. I've linked a lot of union building resources in the description of the channel. I highly recommend you check it out.